So here we are into Group E of the Season 2 playoffs for HoN Tour. Of course, both groups here being comprised of two high seeds and two low seeds from the previous group stages, A, B, C, D, and Group B producing a high seed of dnL Esports here on the Legion side, who apparently have lost their sponsorship, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. They also have picked up Keizu, so that's pretty interesting. But they finished with the top seed from Group C, so good for them. And TCC Team Cheesecake with finishing with the low seed from Group C. Sorry, dnL was the high seed from Group B. So how this works is pretty similar to the previous group stages, where we have 4 teams in each group, and we will produce once again a high seed and a low seed. And so this is match number 2. Neither of these teams have played anything yet, so this is just to be going into the winner's match instead of being knocked down a loser's match initially. Go through the Banjo fast. Moonqueen, Pestilence, Cersei, and Grinix. Pesty, Cersei, Grinix, not a surprise. Interesting, Flensmeister bans out MQ. We've been seeing a little more of that lately, as apparently teams feeling like that Moonqueen is a bit of an issue. And that leads them to a first pick Ophelia if she was unbanned. So Ophelia, the first selection here for dnL, followed by Rhapsody and Wretched Hag. So strong push there, certainly. Ophelia minions, Rhapsody dance floor. Pretty solid gank. Staccato sounds very good. Of course, Ophelia with her minions. Wretched Hag does some pretty good burst damage with long-range initiation with that Flash of Darkness. And decent carry right now with Wretched Hag with that short lane ability. So right now they're missing some tank, and they're not quite as strong in the carry. They're not particularly strong in the gank. But in the push meta and the team fights, and doing pretty solid here in the carry and the gank. So nice lineup here so far from dnL. On the other side with TCC we have Bubbles, Kraken, and Parasite. So they're missing some carry there, but certainly very strong game with Bubbles and Parasite, and Kraken too for that matter once he gets the portal key. Team fight's probably even stronger than the one on Legion, because that Kraken, well, maybe not actually. Yeah, there's three really strong ultimates there for Legion side and only 2 for the Hellborn side on the Parasites. Nice in team fights, but he's more of a single target hero, so it's a bit harder for him to do spread damage. It's a bit harder for him to take out multiple heroes. He can basically just blow his load onto one, and that's it. Now, if you pick the right hero, that can do a lot. That can turn a team fight around, but not really a guy that you're like, oh, go in 1v5 and kill the entire opposing team. Nonetheless, very strong heroes, very strong lanes here. Bubbles either Suicide or on mid. Kraken can go any 3, and Parasite's obviously a nice jungler to counter the Ophelia on the Legion side. So both teams running junglers, and I like to see that, and I think that is more powerful than the dual support, but some dual supports have done pretty well, so strong lineups here from either side. Hellborn looking certainly for a carry, and very possibly for an initiator or for a support. Actually, for a support here is what they're looking for. So we'll see if they can pick up a short laner and a solid support here on the Legion side. Obviously, an initiator, and they pick up the Pebbles, so that's a very solid pick right there. Probably looking for a Suicide. Could also be a short laner depending on where they put Wretched Hag. Of course, Sandra's still available. Lots of short laners banned out in the second banning stage. Gemini among them, on top of Warbeast Kronos from the Hellborn side. So actually, Gemini getting banned out by Flensmeister, not wanting to deal with that hero. I suppose that's an indication he already has the short laner in Wretched Hag. So yeah, that's what that's going to be. So Madman Suicide, Wretched Hag will be played in the carry role, and he'll be in the short lane. Pebbles probably in Rhapsody in mid, and then of course Ophelia in the jungle. So strong lanes here from the Legion side, should do quite well. Madman of course doing something to address their slight lack of carry there. And between the two of them, probably give the late game to the Legion side, especially because Pebbles does remain really a big problem. And over on the Hellborn side, they pick up Master of Arms and Puppet Master. Puppet Master, of course, is sort of a TCC signature hero. They do like him a lot, and I completely agree with him with that. I think that Puppet Master is a very strong hero, and he absolutely has a place in the competitive scene. And they proved that during the group stages. They used him to great effect in one game, going about 550 GPM and really being able to carry a game. So we'll see if they can replicate that here against dnL, and certainly they hope so. And it looks like these Hellborn lanes are once again fairly predictable. I'm going to go ahead and say Suicide Bubbles. No, it's going to be Suicide Kraken. Then a mid Bubbles and a short lane Puppet with Master of Arms, with Parasite in the jungle. So lots of kill potential actually up here in this top lane, and even with Madman's stock, if they get a little bit of invis detection, they're going to have plenty of ability to take him out. So now it looks like they're switching stuff up. Let me see a Puppet and Master mid with a Bubbles top. I don't like this. I think they realize that Madman's going to be top, so like, well, let's not deal with that. Let's just send everybody mid because we're going to have to deal with this Pebbles Rhapsody. But Bubbles doesn't really care. With the Stalagmite's relatively short range, Pebbles will have to get sort of close to Bubbles to initiate on him. Now, the other problem is, since it's a repeated stun, so it stuns you for like half a second every half second, so it will hit you for a full 2-second stun if you get hit by it. But with the take cover popping out, at early levels, he won't actually be able to take cover through it. So he'll take cover like, part of the stun, but not all of it. So that has been an issue here for Bubbles, but he is a substantially defensive support. He's very good at not dying, with the take cover and the Shell Surf and the Song of Sea as well. So whether this really makes enough sense to me... Okay, it is going to be Bubbles mid. Thank you. Good. This is much better. So, I mean, he's going to have a bit of a hard time here grabbing CS, but he will have a decent enough time, and if he plays cautious enough, he won't die. So, nice block there as well. And really, this is the important thing for him, of course, is getting levels, so he should do a pretty solid job here getting levels. And Madman is going to have some issues, of course. A Ward of Rev already bought by Master Arm, figuring that Keizu on this Madman will be up here. He's going to take a bunch of harass here from Puppet and Master of Arms. There's a charge shot. Tree eaten by Master, and they're just going at it. Stock coming out won't hit anybody, but Madman going to be forced to pop some regen here if he wants to stay in the lane. We'll just eat a tree. So this is going to be a bit of an issue here for Keizu. He shouldn't be particularly dominant with the 2 disables from Puppet Master. And then the Parasite coming in and the Master of Arms charge shot and Form Lightning. There's a lot of damage coming out, and Madman isn't the tankiest hero. So if they manage to catch him, especially if they have a Rev Ward down, there's a pretty reasonable chance they can kill him up here. So Keizu going to have to be a little careful. Wasn't pulled plenty of regen. Actually, wasn't pulled any regen. He bought all of it himself. How interesting. Tango's health pot and 1 mana potion, so they're probably going to do as much as they can to force as much of this as possible early on. And they should be relatively successful here, as he's got 2 tangos and he's missing some mana. Anyway, mid lane, Rhapsody off into the jungle, perhaps looking to stack some camps. And she will triple stack this easy camp. Leaves Bubbles and Pebbles alone in middle. Of course, Pebbles finding it very difficult to kill Bubbles. On bot, Kraken versus Hag. This is a matchup that Hag should absolutely win. But if she gets a little too greedy, he can absolutely kill her, especially once he hits level 6. If you drop the Release the Kraken on top of Hag, of course, it deals a superior magic stun. Hook charge going to miss. That's a bit of an issue there. Kraken going greedy, and now he's dead. There's a Skeleton King net. There's the HoN, and this is just an absolutely screwed Kraken. So Bart Future there, getting a little aggressive. Leech is there onto Madman. I believe they have Dust. And hasted Parasite, actually, but this isn't going to be enough, as Madman did have the stock, managed to get away from all the disables and the stuns. So Keizu will be forced to lane a bit here. Pop the health potion and the mana potion. And actually we'll return back to the top lane. So Bart Future there, using the charge aggressively, certainly not a good idea, I don't think. With the amount of harassment going to come out onto him with the HoN, I really don't think he needs to be doing that. I think he needs to get his levels, get the occasional CS, get as much lane control as he can, and try not to die. That's basically a role as a suicide anyway. Another charge missing. He's playing really aggressive here, and interesting that, that didn't work out well for him last time, so I don't know why he's doing it again. But he's going to have some issues down here if he continues to do that. He does have a Ward of Sight here, of course, protecting him a little bit from that Ophelia, but last time was not enough. Bot room going to spawn in 15 seconds. Ophelia and Kraken. Nope, just Ophelia going to go down here. Now Kraken is going to go contest it. I'm going to see that Ophelia and be like, oh boy. Nope. HoN coming out there, And he should be fine here. No Ophelia minion, and so he'll just walk back. But he will not be able to get bot room, which is a refreshment. Up top, Rhapsody bottles a regen. So that'll be nice for Pebbles there. He'll be able to spam his stuff maybe once, twice, and again get all his mana back. As looking at the CS scores here, Pebbles 25 and 10 compared to a 16-0 Bubbles, so certainly Pebbles winning this lane. That's not surprising at all considering he has the support. But Bubbles doing fairly well, not dying, so I think this is a pretty solid matchup here for the Hellborn side. I think it's definitely going to do. Madman over here will try to stalk away, but now he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to fall here. Actually, as bot, so there's Fort Lightning finishing off on bot. Kraken charging away, but there's a Sonar Scream and one auto attack. And he's trying to turn this around, but it's not going to happen. Haunt damage, and then there's auto attack. He could have lived there if he had just left. So I understand the wanting to get the kill under a Flensmeister on his hag, but not great. Meanwhile, Announcer falls too as Pebbles comes in and picks off that Master of Arms. So I don't know what the hell took them so long that they allowed Pebbles to come in there and get a kill, but that's a pretty big issue actually, as we now see a pretty good golden experience lead here for Legion side. Kraken coming back bot as in that lane 28 and 7 Hag, and Kraken is 9 and 0, so he's not even doing very well in the CS. And he's currently at 104 gold per minute, so really suffer here lane for Kraken, and that's obviously going to be an issue for this Hellborn side. Not just that, but the 370 GPM on Wretched Hag thanks to the 2 kills that she's been a part of. And now Madman is down here. We'll stalk into Kraken, and we'll see what... Oh, nice charge away. This might actually not be enough. There's a Sonar Scream, and now he's in huge amounts of trouble. That will be it. So, puts the Torrent down, tries to get the counter kill, but just way too much damage coming out from Hag now, as Madman will actually get ported back. So, nice gank from Keizu. Able to kill Kraken once again, and now he's down to 90 gold per minute, which is the lowest farm in the game. And he's just having a hell of a time down here. I think at this point he might need to abandon ship. Shellsurf away will prevent Pebbles from killing this Bubbles. Invis rune on bot that Bubbles will be able to bottle up and run away with. Run, buddy! Top lane, meanwhile, we have this Puppet Master at 35 and 16 compared to a 5 and 1 Madman. So like I said, Madman just getting up and up here. He is getting experience, which is nice, but pretty much no CS, 120 gold per minute. So excellent shutdown of Keizu on this Madman up on top. Now Bubbles is invis sitting bot, and we have a pretty solid gank squad up here with Parasite coming in on top of Kraken, who is not level 6 yet, so that's worth noting. Neither is Bubbles for that matter. As they're now going to initiate here. Charge goes in there, but Skeleton King Net is there from Ophelia. They're going to try to kill this Hag, but it's not going to happen. Actually, there's a Keltfield, and she just hits that, and oh god, yes, Flensmeister dies, takes the Keltfield stun. And now Bubbles is in some trouble. Will pour it out. Dancefloor goes down, and that's going to be a Scottish stun, so he's not going to live. 1-for-1 trade there in favor of the Hellborn side as they pick off the short laner and Flensmeister and lose Bubbles for it, but that's okay. And that's going to turn into a tower push here as Ophelia has just Skeleton King. Dancefloor goes down. Will help to kill this creep wave as Rap's just taking a bunch of tower damage. We'll pop a tree. And Rhapsody once again taking a bunch of damage, so support here on this Rap is not feeling too happy.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Kraken coming back as mid tower goes down actually to Hag and Pebbles, and bot tower will fall here momentarily. Actually, Parasite gets denied, and now he's in some trouble. Puts the Torrent down onto Madman, but not going to be enough. He actually gets charged into the woods. Dancefloor goes down on top of the Cicada Suns, and here's Pebbles to clean up Kraken, and that will be another kill. On top of this bot tower. Rhapsody actually will fall to the tower as the damn thing just kept targeting her. So 2 kills on a tower kill there for the Legion side. They lose support on that Rhapsody, but I think they'll be alright with that. As Flensmeister comes back to his bot lane. Uber Gimp up top on this Puppet Master, only at 320 gold per minute, and considering she's basically had free farm for the last, I don't know, maybe several minutes, considering Keizu's been roaming, it's not that great. I think perhaps Master doesn't need to be up here anymore, and I think he's figured that out as well. He's headed mid. Parasite's going back in the jungle. Madman gets spotted out by this ward of sight here, but will choose to stalk, and he'll be fine. There's a ward of Rev as well. So looking at GPM charts here, Parasite's behind both Pebbles and Hag, as of course both of them have substantial kill involvement. 1-0-1 on Brodex, 2-1-1 on Flens. And they both have excellent CS as well. Pretty much getting total control of their lanes. So 2 lanes won here by the Legion side, and then the jungle certainly won by them as well, as Ophelia is 310 gold per minute compared to the 215 of Parasite, of course. Oath also having lots of kill involvement, and Slap's doing pretty well. Center Scream will clean up the creep wave here, do a bunch of damage to Kraken, as top tower is denied by the Hellborn side. Rev Ward gets put down, will counter both a Ward of Sight and a Ward of Rev, so 75 gold there out of the 100 gold cost is recouped by support on that Rhapsody. And now that we're sitting at just over a 5k gold lead and a 3k experience lead, I think Hellborn need to be mildly concerned. They do have some pretty solid timings here. Once we start hitting 15-20 minutes or so, we get level 2 ultimates on Bubbles and hopefully Kraken, although he's having some suffering here. And Parasite, the 3 of them will combine to form a very formidable combination. Now Parasite coming here with the Kelpfield on top of Pebbles, and he's going to take a bunch of damage. Might not actually die. There goes the Stalagmites on the Bubbles, and the ultimate from Ophelia, and he's just going to walk out of this. Now Staccato's on top of Parasite. He'll have to run into the creep. Ophelia getting Puppet Showed actually there, but a Bat Blast hits 3. Ultimate goes there onto Hag, and actually Puppet's going to die before anything happens. They're trying to kill this Hag. It's not going to happen. It's just enough health. Ophelia also lives. So actually, what you doing, Oph? Bubble's going to come in here, won't quite die. Actually gets picked off by the Ophelia minions. That's painful. Parasite chasing these things down, so I'm not sure what Slop's plan was there. He was just running into the Master of Arms and just ate a leech, so... Feed, I guess, maybe. Tower going to be pushed on top as Madman has cleaned up the creep wave. 253 GPM on him, so he's recovered pretty nicely actually from a fairly awful start. He had basically nothing going into the the early mid game, the end of the laning phase. So well done from Keizu being able to recover a little bit. And we'll see what he can do with it. Parasite will pour it in. Jump onto Puppet there. The Puppet Show on top of the Parasite Space Dog, plus a dual Stalagmites and a Chuck. Puppet's in a ton of trouble. Parasite will stop everything with an Infest. Rhapsody trying to get the kill on the Puppet Master. It's not going to be enough, and she's going to die here. As Grindballs picks up that kill with the Leech. And Ubergimp just barely surviving up top. Taking a health potion here to continue to live. Ashley finished in Ophelia. And Hag has her Light Brand and 158 gold at 12 minutes, which is reasonably strong. Gonna try to chase in those Bubbles? No. Probably could have. I had a blink up. There's Sonar Scream and she would have been close to dead. Ubergimp actually gonna fall on top. Let's go back. Just jump Stalagmites combo. So of course Pebble's already with his portal key. And he laughs at Puppet Master. Because I mean Puppet's at 758 health right now. I mean he can just destroy her. No question. I believe the Sunchuck combo actually will do his entire health. So something like 900 magic damage, right? Respected by Chubbly, double the damage. So yeah, that's over 500 from that, and 280 from that. So yeah, it's like 900 magic damage. Meanwhile, jump in middle on the Bubbles, and he's actually going to survive here. Puts the Kelpfield down, Shell Surf away, and take cover, so he's going to live. Just barely, but he will live. He literally had like 5 health there. As apparently 739 health is enough to survive the Pebbles combo. So perhaps with the magic resistance, Ubergimp up here will survive. Of course, with the Steam Boots, he has a little bit more health. They're currently on Intelligence, but if they're on Strength, they'll feel a little safer. Ophelia and Min going to scout out the Hellborn side here, looking for a gank. They're all hiding in the woods, but Kraken's just going to be like, run! They found me. Bot tower puts the glyph up, but that's probably going to live now. Actually, nice blast shot there on the Pesty as boy, you're in so much trouble here, Mad Master is dead. Dead, dead, dead. Parasite over here looking for an escape. Will jump into an Ophelia minion. Haunt gets put on top of it. Shock through right back, and now Parasite's completely screwed. As 1.5 million bursts come out onto him. So like I was saying, there's some pretty solid timing here on the Hellborn side with really Parasite, Kraken, and Bubbles all sort of finding their peak footing around this time. Of course, the other problem with that is Pebbles. Pebbles is right in the same boat, and he's at 416 GPM. So between the 255 to 203, I mean, like, he's pretty much the same as two of those heroes. And if you add the really strong start Hag has, who does also get very powerful around this time, that's a bit of an issue. So Hellborn have a bit of a timing window here where some of their heroes will be peaking to some extent, especially the Parasite and the Bubbles. As they will continue to get stronger, but relative to other heroes in the game, you know, past about 25 to 30 minutes or so, they're just never going to be the right-click threats, and that's the point at which the right-click damage starts to come out in force here from this Hag and the Madman, as Puppet's just dead. Getting jumped here, no vision, and Madman with a stock being able to scout people out. So he's at 260 GPM, highest row on his team, and this is looking like a bit of an issue here for Team Cheesecake. 4 heroes here on the Legion side, all out farming everybody on the Hellborn side. Uber Gimp on this Puppet is just not having a great time, and Puppet Master is a hero that needs items. He does fairly well as a support, so like if you're running him in that role, he doesn't need him. He can just throw out disables and his ult all day. But this is a farming Puppet, and for a Puppet to do a lot of right-click damage, he needs some items. But especially because he's weak as hell. No escape mechanism. He's not particularly fast. He's quite squishy. And with the Steam Boots, you know, it adds some strength, but not a lot of move speed you get from the Ghost Marcher. So you sort of need that Assassin's Shroud in order to make sure that you're not going to die in every engagement. The Whispering Helm, also very nice, so that you can continue to fight in the engagement if you take a little damage. You can get it right back. Kraken in mid, going to get initiated on here by this Hag. Will take the Haunt despite the charge. And then looking for a Skeleton King net and a Minotaur Stomp here. And it might be just enough, or at least the Kraken gets dropped. Actually, his Puppeteer as well. Eats the Skeleton King net, puts the ultimate down on Ophelia, but the Bat Blast hits 2. Actually, Oph's going to put the ultimate down, but still will die. Hag now in some trouble as she eats the strings. And, man, Uber Gimp on that. The Puppet will die, but so does Funspeister. So nice engagement there from the Hellborn side, taking 2 for 1. They do lose their carry, but so do Legion. And that's definitely a 1 fight there. Stock fight, stock going out, and this is a dead Master on top of the Bubbles as Pebbles jumps in and wrecks him in his face. Support up top pushing this lane. Looking to do as much tower damage as possible. Dance floor. There it is. Man, this towers just love him. Poor guy. So we have 3 heroes up here. Of course, Pebbles hiding in the woods, waiting for somebody to try to defend this so he can kill them. Skeleton King net will be jumped over there as Kraken's down a little bit of trouble as it looks like we might see the no initiation from Pebbles. Top tower in deny range, it will get finished off here.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And 14k gold, 8k experience here in favor of the Legion side. And I don't see, besides some throws from denial, I don't see TCC coming out of this, to be honest with you. They've got some decent carry and some decent late game with Puppet and Kraken and sort of Bubbles and Parasite a little bit, but Legion side have Madman and Hag, and even Pebbles, who scales pretty well. And that's the farm chart we're looking at here. So Grimoire already on Hag. It's not even 18 minutes yet. She's actually had it for a bit now. So she's going to skyrocket to the 550 mark pretty easily, maybe even 600. And she's just going to become impossible to deal with. She'll put a shrunken head up, and all of a sudden, nothing will matter to her anymore whatsoever. It's just going to become a situation where she's going to jump into fights, do a bunch of damage, jump out again because nobody can lock her down. And that's not what she can do with the Hag. You know, and when she has the Pebbles back up, I would imagine 2 heroes at the beginning of every fight are basically going to get bursted down between the 2 of them, and a little bit from Madman and maybe Ophelia and Rhapsody. So I think every fight's basically going to start out with Legion picking up a couple of heroes, turning into a 3v5, and still having the right-click damage to win a fight. So it's not like they're just pure burst damage, so they can burst down a couple of heroes, but then they've blown their load, and all of a sudden, oh, I can't do anything anymore, and I have to run away because all my spells are on cooldown. No, they just get stick in a fight with Madman and Hag and Pebbles, and be like, yeah, okay, now that we've killed a couple of your heroes immediately, we're going to right-click everybody else down. Our cooldowns are relatively low here, so we're going to be applying slows, stuns, all over the place, and then you're just going to die. So, and of course we can push you too. We have Ophelia and Rhapsody, and Pebbles will help out with that. So we'll Hag. I mean, I don't see much that the Hellborn side can do at this point. I certainly understand why they wouldn't CC. They're down pretty hard. They know exactly how much. They don't know exactly how badly they're losing, but they know that they're losing pretty badly. As up top, Puppet gonna get jumped here by Pebbles, and he's just dead. Barrel roll on Keizu finishes him off. And looking for a Kongor possibly. As these creeps will get cleaned up by support and Ophelia. Yeah, so this is going to be a Kongor attempt now. Should be a pretty easy kill. DD rune on Pebbles. Actually, Hag can get sent back. Well, interesting. They don't really need her. So I understand why, but that's fine. Up top, that's what. So this is pushing in a little bit. Hag be able to get some free farm up from that, and she's going to now jump to the 520 mark and to clean up this wave. And the Kongor split kill. That's 530. Ophelia picking up an Astral or Abyssal Skull. So the items too coming out here for the Legion side are getting pretty crazy. Oaf's got the Abyssal Skull on top of the Astrolabe during a Sorcery and Play of Leap, so she's just supporty as all hell. Madman's looking for a Shrunken Head here with his Energizer Steam Boots. He's looking pretty good. Rhapsody's got Steam Boots and pretty hard support items. Pebbles has Soul Spore work and half of a Shrunken Head on top of a Sportal Key and now a Token of Life. Obviously, Keizu going to fall here in the middle lane as he's just sitting on top of a Rev Ward. Kelpfield goes out on top of the Puppet Show. Torrent's there, and the ultimate from Puppet. Wow, he gets dropped real fast. So that's some power from the Hellborn side. You know, if they drop a bunch of spells at once, they can kill somebody quite easily. And so Legion won't really be able to push in right now because of the pick onto Keizu, but once he respawns, they'll probably be looking to take a base tower. Instead, just cleaning up the Hellborn jungle. And Puppet does have his Whispering Helm, so that's going to be nice in terms of staying power, but to be honest, I don't think it's the right choice just because he's getting bursted down here. He's not, like, sitting in the back, being able to sit in the back and pound in right-click at auto attacks, where, you know, that Whispering Helm would help him stay alive. He's just dying immediately because they know he's the source of a lot of their damage and a lot of their disable, so if we kill him now, we can, you know, do a lot to stop this team fight from really ever happening, and it's just be a slaughter. So I think I might have preferred the Assassin Shroud in that situation. Survive the burst, shroud up, make sure you don't die, run back to the well, and come back into the fight, so they essentially waste their cooldowns on you, to some extent. Not really, because it forces you out of the fight, and then they can just clean up everybody else, but at least you wouldn't die. And I think with the Whispering Helm here, he's just going to die because, okay, yeah, he's going to have the right click, he's going to have a little more staying power, but there's so much stun here on the Legion side with the Pebbles and the Rhapsody in particular, plus the Ophelia helping out a little bit. And even more than stun releases burst damage. And Whispering Helm gives you some armor, but it's physical damage, not magic damage, so not a huge fan of that. Parasite did go to the Codex route, which is just fine. Codex still level 1 though, 22 minutes in here. I don't think there's anybody you can pick off besides the Rhapsody, assuming she is on, even if she's on Strength Frizz like she is right now with 1,000 health, she can probably die. She does not have vestments. In fact, nobody on this Legion side has vestments. Oh, interesting. No, sorry, Hag does. What am I even looking at? But we'll see a couple of Shrunken Heads up relatively soon. As Hag bought something, I assume it's the head. Yeah. So she has a Shrunken there. We're going to see a Shrunken on Keizu in about 500 gold. We're going to see a Shrunken on Pebbles in about 400 gold. So, sorry, not 400 gold. What am I even talking about? 1,000 gold, 900 gold. For some reason I thought he had the Warhammer and the Mighty Blade. Over on the Hellborn side, Kraken, of course, suffering super hard. Steam Boots, Power Supply, that's pretty much it. Bubbles has his Steam Boots, Bottle, and Vestments, Major Totem, and Grave Locket, so I assume that's going to be a Storm Spirit on Bubbles. Could also be a Push Totem, but I'm guessing the Storm Spirit. Just to try to Storm Spirit somebody who does get bursted down. Torrent Gun on the Hag, but she's like away, be fine. And Master still on regular boots with a ward, a health pot, so he's just basically got nothing, 100 gold per minute, and trying to keep the warding up. So I think they're going to finish him Shrunken Heads here on the Legion side, and then look to group up and push. Madman has his, I believe Pebbles has his, and once those get delivered, I think this is going to be the end of that. So actually Vestments and Blessed Orb on Brodex. That's a little interesting. Was that a misclick or something? Because he's got the Ogre Axe, maybe the Mighty Blade, so I don't understand why you'd go for a Blessed Orb here. Those two things don't combine. Maybe he wants a Sheepstick. He has 400 gold per minute. I mean, he hasn't bought anything in a while, so I don't know. Vestments on support, so he'll be able to survive some bursts from Bubbles and Parasite. That'll be nice for him. As we're looking at a mid-push here from the Legion side. And that's really... I don't get what's going on with the Blessed Orb there. He's got half of 3 different items here. With the jump in, chuck onto Bubbles, and now he's going to take all sorts of damage. Dies just off the head. Puppet Show onto Pebbles. He's trying to kill this Hag, but it's not going to happen. And now that they got the burst onto Bubbles. So like I said, they're just going to start every fight by picking somebody off. Chuck back in on a Puppet, and now he's going to die. Puts the strings down, but not nearly enough. So now this is the 3v5 I was talking about. And this is going to be an easy dead mid-tower. Puppet buys back, but Bubbles not up for 15 seconds. Glyph goes off. We'll slow down a little bit, but it's not going to stop this Rax. Especially with the DD on Hag. PK off prevents the Torrent from Kraken. Actually, the Kraken gets dropped on a bunch here, but Grind Balls and Parasite immediately falling. Puppet ultimate going on to Pebbles. He will die. Bat Blast hitting 2, and Uber Gimp there dies again. Art Future also falling, so that's going to be the GG well played. And the game. So, very strong performance there from dnL. Not that surprising. I think they were certainly favored to win this game over Team Cheesecake, who have shown very well in these playoffs. Getting to the second stage of the groups, which is pretty impressive. I believe they were actually the low seed for their group. Or they were certainly 3rd or 4th. Brodex taking out Squizzy, even though Genocide is already, or the CC is already gone. But decent performance from here. They hung in for 25 minutes, but they really didn't do too much. I think they basically just lost too many lanes. They lost mid, they lost bot, and dnL never really made anything scary after that. We'll just get a bunch of farm on Fuzzbeister, we'll take some team fights, we'll support each other well, and we'll win the game, and that's pretty much exactly what they did. So, good performance from Game 1 by dnL, and we'll see if TCC can perhaps turn things around in Game 2.